Hi everyone, and welcome to Rollbound 2. I am your DM, Chas, and I'm going to go down the list and have everyone introduce themselves, starting with Groove.
Good tidings. I am Groove, and I am bound to the role of Jonathan Oneros Phage.
Alrighty, Allie.
Hello, I'm Allie, and I am bound to the role of Prince Xander.
Alright, Minnow.
Hello, I am Minnow, and I am bound to the role of Vivian Deshays.
Alright, Joey.
My name is Joey, and I'm bound to the role of Jay Elwood. Forgot his last name for a second.
Alright, Dakota.
Hello everyone, my name is Dakota, and I am bound to the role of Lysel.
And last but never least, Mickey.
Hi, I'm Mickey, and I am bound to the role of Emiko.
It's just milk, right? Like, if anything, it's more normal because it's from a person.
Because it's not from a cow.
Hello everyone, it is your DM again. I'm just interrupting this little part here to just announce that my audio during this episode is terrible. Not only am I sick, but I am also not using my podcast mic like a fool. I'm using my headset mic. I didn't know that this happened, but I moved the port of which my headset dongle was plugged into, which my computer then allowed itself to reset to my headset microphone as my default microphone, which is what my recording software uses. So I apologize for that. We'll be working around that. And then I also just wanted to interject, because I don't do episode outros anymore. Thank you so much for watching Rollbound and listening to it and enjoying our weekly upload schedules. Enjoy the episode. You're in for a real treat. I got a good chunk of that, but I'm gonna save it. So where we last left off, you all had just opened up a door to basically the Chow Hall, quote unquote, as they called it, and you saw some glowing red eyes gazing back at you, and then they dispersed throughout the room.
Oh yeah, we were about to fight. I forgot that.
Were we? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got XP for opening up a door. And then
Yeah.
I wonder if this kitchen is going to have a refrigerator.
And
nice box.
yeah, just piercing through the darkness are just glowing red, almost orange eyes just peering back at you from multiple corners of the room.
I try and sense the dreams in this area. Benevolent, malevolent.
Make me a perception check.
Sight or hearing based? Or something else?
A secret third thing.
Are you trying
Taste.
to see if there's anything sleeping in here? For you to sense their dreams?
Trying to. Same as like Melos. I want to see if there's like a benevolent, malevolent, or benign dream in here. Like, since I can sense them, like smelling. Like, what do the dreams smell like in here?
Right. Yeah, sure. Make me a scent-based perception check.
I'm gonna sleepwalk for this.
The dreams smell like they drink white Gatorade and smell like nickels.
Guidance.
Thank
so
you.
my cousin's here?
The 17.
You don't sense any dreaming creatures nearby, but with your almost supernatural senses for these things, you do sense one thing, and it's hunger.
I mean, we are in the Chow Hall.
You dream about a double cheeseburger.
Like-minded and ill-mannered individuals lie in this hall. Sleepwalking. Anything I can see with my blind sight with a range of 30 feet. It's dark in here, right?
30 feet.
Wait.
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 Got blind sight. Anything within 35.
This session has been going on for like 10 minutes and it's a disaster.
The economy is in shambles.
I make a
There's
roll
always
to see if
one.
there's any breath. Can I make a roll to see if there's any breath smoke in this room?
Yeah, check the icebox.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No, within 30 feet you don't see really much of anything.
I'm gonna close the door.
You just walk back out, close the door. You hear, the moment you close the door, for like a few seconds you hear silence, and then you hear shuffling on the other side of the door. Not like directly on the other side, but like as if whatever is in the room just continued what they were doing.
Hey guys, I think I
Do we
just
have a
found a
torch? Do we
coil
have a
head.
torch?
Yeah, I have a torch.
Yeah, hold up the torch. I'm gonna... Johnny's gonna fucking slam the door open. Like, pretends to close it. Whoosh.
Yep, DM, I'm the world's gayest sconce. What happens?
When you open the door again, you see these. You almost want to call them, because you have a light source now, right?
Yeah, a torch.
You see these almost. You want to call them imp-like creatures, but they are very distinct. And one of them is on the ground eating a fish that is so old and rotted it's basically become moldy jerky. There's another one sitting eating a very old wedge of cheese. One of them is rifling through a barrel that is open on the end of one of the counters, and the last one is like eating like an obviously prepped meal that is again so old that it just looks whatever was there just looks black and crunchy.
You're just eating old food?
Yeah.
How many are there?
There's 4 of them. Again, they look like imps, but there's something different about them. They have scales along their body. They almost look like tiny little wyverns, but they're very obviously, impish. And when you open the door again, like, they all look up. Again, red eyes glaring at you. And start slowly backing away.
Dungeon patron, can I roll to identify these creatures?
Yeah, make me a history check.
I rolled a fucking 1.
I rolled one. Fuck.
Does that pass?
No.
Okay.
If it makes me feel any better, after my modifier, it's still a 1.
Darn.
Does not make me feel better.
Can I pull out 4 good berries?
Ooh!
And I'm just gonna walk inside with them in my palm. Walking slowly. Do they react at all as I get closer?
They all look at you, staring at your hand, like starting to drool.
There's a door on the other side of the room, right? On the map I'm seeing?
Yes. Up here.
Okay. Going to slowly walk forward. Are they seeming to get aggressive at all? Keeping a very close eye, or Gale is keeping a very close eye on them?
I wouldn't say aggressive, but ravenous. These creatures are very, very hungry. And they appear slightly malnourished.
I put 4 berries down on the table, and then I gesture over to the rest of my group and say, come on, and point to that door. And if they don't have a problem with it, I'm going to walk through that door.
Yeah, all 4 of them just huddle along the table and start just eating the berries, kind of like kicking each other's ass about it. Like one of them pushes the other one off the table, and it goes, ah! And then like falls on the ground, and then it clambers back up trying to get some.
Great.
Johnny
Everybody else
will
following me?
listen to the instructions of Mistress Deshays and take heed.
Boogieing.
All right, what's on the other side of this door?
you actually can see this door is one of those doors where it has like a, I don't want to call it a window, but like an opening near the top with a there used to obviously be something in place there so they could see through the other side, but there doesn't appear to be anything there anymore as it's been broken. And you can actually see into the other room. And it's a significantly smaller room than this one. But you notice that this room has been overtaken by this, like, gross, moldy substance. Not mold. But make me a perception check. Real quick, Vivian.
I'll help. Can I? Oh.
Okay. So I've got help and I've got guidance.
Yeah.
That is a 22.
Yeah, you notice that, in the sticking out of the, like, disgusting sludge, there's, like, a skeletal hand, like, reaching up, and it's holding a gem, and it's, like, between its fingers.
Mm-hmm. Does the slime appear to be moving at all?
No, it doesn't appear to be moving. It seems to be just staying in one place. It makes kind of weird noises, but it's like remaining where it is. It's not
I look over and I say, Prince Sander, could you do your rock thing? She points at the sludge.
Which one, if you don't mind elaborating?
The blasty one.
Sure thing. And Xander snaps his fingers, and I'm going to Eldritch Blast the slime.
Make an attack roll.
Telling everyone else to get ready in case this breaks bad.
That is a 19 to hit.
That does hit.
Alrighty, that is going to be 10 points of force damage, 2 points of bludgeoning damage, and because I dealt bludgeoning damage, I'm going to knock it 5 feet back.
It's a little rude.
Assuming it's a creature. If it's not a creature, it doesn't get knocked back, in which case that will be very useful information.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to move. But where you formed a hole, it does slowly start to reform.
Can I try a cheeky mage hand and see if I can grab that gem?
Yeah.
Okay, I do so.
Yeah, you pluck your mage hand, plucks the gem out of the skeletal hand, in which the moment the gem is removed, the slime seems to pull, quote-unquote, the hand deeper into it. As the slight movement of the things, of the bony fingers seems to react. Seem to make the slime react, despite the fact that it's not a creature.
Got it. Some kind of carnivorous fungus. Okay, but no other reaction? We got the gem?
Good.
Sweet. No other doors in this room?
No.
Okay.
If there were, you can't see any, because on the back end of this room, it is floor to ceiling covered in slime.
Got it.
Xander looks a bit squeaked out, has the mage hand hold the gem in front of Mistress Deshays and just says, I really don't want to touch this, I'm sorry.
She holds up the bag. Put it in.
Yep, and we'll deposit the gem inside the bag.
Mage hand to pull it back out. How does it look?
It looks very shiny. Has been cleaned of all ichor. It's still got a few, like, dents in it. Maybe a little bit of chips. So you can tell that this is a magical gem. It looks, eye-shaped like the other one you have.
Okay.
Yes, that was one of the things we needed to open a door a la Resident Evil, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Which I believe
Yes.
means we have both, yeah?
Yeah, normally 2 gems where the eyes are would glow when the door was open.
Is there anything else
So
in here aside from the slime substance?
There's like broken wood. It looks like this was like a storeroom for the kitchen at one point, and this slime has just taken it over. So there's nothing in here very valuable. Just broken barrels and wooden
When I
pieces.
hit it with the Eldritch Blast, did any part of it like get blasted off?
Yeah, you basically blasted like a hole in it, and it started to reform.
Mistress Deshays, did we want to perhaps take a sample of this, whatever it is?
Going to take a glass vial, mage hand, and hold it up to the sludge. How does it react to the glass vial?
It starts to try and, it kind of tries to, like, reach out for it, but the glass doesn't break or corrode at being touched.
Okay. Can I try and scoop up a little bit into the glass vial?
Yeah. Doing so, especially at the edges of the slime, isn't really an issue. It has, like, a little resistance, when you try to pull away, but, if you just seal the lid, that'll, like, cut it enough to just kind of yank it away real quick.
Sure.
It
Pull it
makes
back
a
to us.
horrendous noise.
It makes what noise?
A horrendous noise. Like, the sounds
Oh.
of interacting with it are disgusting. It almost
Disgusting as in like gloopy?
Yeah, it also makes a
Okay.
slight, when a part of it is cut off, it makes like a slight hiss noise.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Hold
How
up
does
the
it smell
vial.
in here?
Hold. Yeah, how does it smell in here?
Oh, the smell
Unholy.
coming from this room, no, it is terrible. I mean,
Okay.
I only haven't had y'all make any saves because you've been interacting with it with the mage hand or from a distance, but like if you were to open this door, oh.
Well, what kind of smell is it? Is it like sulfur? Is it like like rotting organic? Is it
Both.
both?
It's-
That's fascinating.
It's sulfur. It's
I don't know what
it
that means,
smells
but
like
I'm excited.
It smells like rotted flesh. It smells like rotted trash. It smells like waterlogged stuff that's been left out in the sun. Don't know how it smells like that, considering there's no sunlight down here. But it literally just smells like rot of every kind.
Hey Joey, have you had Sir Elwood use Divine Sense yet?
In the game day, yes, but I have like another use of it, I think.
I just wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be like metagamey if Xander like asked Jay to see if there's anything infernal about this substance.
About the substance? Can I even?
Yeah.
Does it even work that way?
Yeah.
I can check. Divine Sense. 1 plus my charisma modifier. So yeah, I can use it again. Jay will step a little bit further into the room, just so that it like all of the shit is within 60 feet of him, and then he's gonna close the helmet more than it already is, and cast the Divine Sense.
Yeah. Real quick, Jay, make me a con save.
Con save?
Con save.
Okay.
But also, it is infernal as fuck. This goop is like I forgot the word. Desecrated?
Profound. Yeah, desecrated. Okay, got it.
This slime substance is desecration incarnate. The fact that it's in here makes this room and surrounding area desecrated.
Oh.
Interesting. We're dealing with some kind of infernal slime mold.
Can I?
That's pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Prince Xander, do you mind if I borrow that book from you?
Borrow what from me? I'm sorry.
You took the book on the hierarchies of hell.
Oh, yes, of course. And we'll hand you the book.
Can I scan through, see if there's like a section on desecrated goop.
Yeah. As you're going through, I actually haven't let me go find it.
Well, hey, I don't know about Teosia, but I know in the Forgotten Realms there's a fucking... I don't remember if it's an infernal prince or an archdemon that is like a big fucking slime. I remember it's one of them.
Yeah, so... There is... So there is a section that says that there is a demon prince known as Bellamantis, and while he himself, he's actually like part bug, there are denizens of his ring of hell that generate this mold.
That's interesting, because does the book say whether or not Bellamantis shares a lair with Priscilla?
Bellamantis does not share a ring with Priscilla. Bellamantis is lower in the hells than Priscilla is. Priscilla shares a layer of hell with Stolas.
Oh my god, this is infuriating, because like I know stuff about this, but Xander would not. Can I make an Arcana check here to see if I kind of know in game what I know out of game about this?
Yeah, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Guidance.
That's so bad, though. That's so bad. 12.
Can I provide assistance by like referencing the book?
Yeah, go ahead and make that an advantage.
Oh, that's even worse. I went from an 8 to a 3. Yeah, still 12. Fuck.
I'd say with a 12, you know maybe a third as much.
Okay. Would I know about the distinctions between the type, I'm going to say this as generically as possible, the type of demonic entity that Priscilla is as opposed to the demonic entity type that Bellamantis is?
Oh, yeah, you would definitely know the difference.
Okay, so that one's a sons of one is one of the sons of treachery, and that one is just one of the infernal princes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna relay that. Xander's gonna say, it's very interesting that we're seeing two different sides of infernals here. Priscilla and Bellamantis are not even on the same layer of the hells. They're not even the same type of infernal entity. It's strange that we would see influence from both here, especially considering that, at least ostensibly, the two would be at odds. I feel that this is a clue, but I don't think I'm smart enough to know what it's a clue for.
Do you think one is trying to take over the other's space?
There doesn't seem to be anything here. I don't know why he would bother.
Well, you do remember that, early in the dungeon you found a thing where one of the original paladins of the Order made a deal with a demon that was corrupting this place, including Priscilla's servants.
I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, Xander gets this expression of epiphany and says, wait, no, that actually makes perfect sense. That knight made a deal with a demonic entity to effectively corrupt this place. It's no coincidence that also negatively impacted Priscilla's hold here. This is the remnants of that other entity, I'm sure of it.
The rot is a possession. Vivian pulls out the old journal from Emery and finds a part that says the rot is a possession of Uthas Miralock.
Which makes sense if Usta Miralock is a subservient of Bellamantis. That would make a lot of sense.
Vivian looks inside and says, well, I have a hard time trying to imagine anything that could be more the rot.
Agreed.
Doesn't change our plans too much, though. We know we need to find the denizen here and dispose of them.
I'm guessing there's no other way forward through this room, right? Just a bunch of slime, and we're gonna have to backtrack.
Yep.
As we're going back through, can I pay close attention to what those infernal creatures are eating? And if so, does it appear that what they're eating has any remnants of this infernal slime?
Make me a perception check.
That's quite good. That's quite good. I believe that is okay. Yeah, so that's a 21.
Yeah, it doesn't look like all of the food they've eaten has that. It looks like it's just like regular mold from just being old food. But some of it, especially the closer it is to that door you guys were just looking through, some of it does have that slime growing on it.
With this information in mind, does the slime seem to have any effect on these creatures? Like, is it corrupting them somehow? What I'm kind of theorizing here is that perhaps by ingesting this slime substance, they are more unwilling to attack us unless they run out of other food.
Basically going off of your previous perception, just because it was a really good roll, it looks like despite how much these creatures gorge themselves, they are not getting any sustenance from it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So now that we fed them good berries, which part of the effect of that is that it gives them enough nutrients to sustain them for a day, does it seem to have had an impact on their behavior?
It has. Because you guys noticed that they haven't been that far from you this whole time. They're kind of docile. They still are kind of looking at you a little weird because they're, imps, but they almost seem grateful towards you.
I'm going to speak to one, if I may.
Do any of you know Draconic or Infernal?
I do not. Xander's just gonna talk to one of them in common. Excuse me, do you understand me?
The, creature, narrows his eyes at you and lifts up his hand and, wiggles it from side to side. As if saying, kinda.
Emika's gonna walk over and, translate everything Xander is saying in Infernal.
Oh, it looks,
real quick, before we do this whole conversation, I got a fucking, 13 on the con save. Does that do anything? We got kind of swallowed up in the whole divine.
We did. You throw up a little. That was all it was for.
Oh god, do you lift the faceplate in time?
Well, that kind of bloody bad, son.
Nah, in fact, is he
You can just
girl?
you can just say no. It's fine.
Does it kind of flow out of the fucking?
Oh man, this is the image I was trying not to get.
Yeah, yeah, that was basically trying to keep in your breakfast. You throw up a little bit of
Nasty.
bit of good berry, it's just gross. It was really gross.
With his back still facing the party before everybody walks into the room, he just lifts it up unceremoniously.
Question:
What's
do
up?
we get to see Jay's face?
Nah.
What? How dare you?
His
What
back
if-
was facing you. Yeah, I already said.
What if we're really nosy? We try really hard to see.
Well, then you can smell him.
It's very. It's like I say. It's very unceremonious. It's open spit and then it's back on again.
Vivian curses herself for missing it.
Anyway, do we have anything specific we want to ask these guys? What they're doing here, perhaps, or because Because, like, you know, I wanted to see if we could communicate with them, but frankly, I don't know what the fuck to say to these guys. So, if anybody has any ideas,
Where's Usta Miralock?
ooh,
One of them looks at Emiko and says, "The big, slimy one is in the big chamber behind the dragon's eyes."
In the big chungus.
Sounds disgusting.
He hurts us. Our master hurts us. Everyone hurts us.
Who's their master?
Son
Look
of
over to ask that.
The son of disaster, Priscilla. He abandoned us.
that explains the scales. Do we want to recruit these guys?
To help us fight Usta Miralock?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe beyond. You know, we'll see what happens.
Do you want to help us fight Usta Miralock?
3 out of the 4 look on in fucking terror at that idea. But the one that's talking, puts, his hand on his hips and says, "I'll help you."
Glorious.
Xander is going to look to the others and say, you know, if you have thing, you will be one step closer to not only deciding your own fates, but if that isn't enough of a reward for you, we also have more berries.
They all, like, look ahead hungrily.
Yes, please entice the starving orphans with fucking berries.
Yes, I am enticing the starving orphans with berries so that they will fight on my behalf. Yes, that is what I am doing. I regret nothing.
Vivian asks, is that a yes then?
Yes.
Old.
Great.
These creatures are former adherents to evil. Ask them their disposition toward their forgotten master.
The creatures basically shrug their, I don't want to say they shrug their shoulders, but the one creature, he says, "Master abandoned us, left us hungry. No love for the master if he abandoned us."
Ain't fucking fair enough.
We are imp-drakes. We are not just garbage.
Their hunger was great, but even so, they chose to avoid hostility. I believe you are quite right, Xander. Prince Xander.
Yeah, it's fun. Just Xander's. It's all right.
Prince
To be
Xander,
honest.
ask them if they know anything else about this place.
Oh, right. Emiko, do they know anything else about this place?
I don't know. She looks the imps. Do you know anything else about this place?
The one that's been talking to you kind of like rubs his head and just says, "We're sent here to destroy Order of Knights. But then Master's Knights got corrupted by slime. Slime corrupted us, made us starve, but live. You helped us. The child has demon's powers. He also lives long."
The child?
Yeah, wasn't it the guy that we just saved?
My mellow yellow.
No. not imprisoned demon. One of the knights got revenge. Sacrificed his child to the demon. It told us.
Unforgivable.
The child is now the host for the demon.
Oh.
Are we gonna have to kill a child?
Well, okay.
Host of the Avatar or the demon itself, which has left this place?
Avatar.
Oh.
Okay, so do they know anything else about this place in terms of like layout, like rooms we haven't been to? If there's anything important that we're missing, that we can sort of like yada yada that?
They tell you that there's nothing else. Any other rooms have been overtaken by slime.
Okay. Okay. Do you know anything about the child's powers? Do you have a stat block on hand by chance?
Can control. Basically, they tell you that the individual can control the rot, can use it to attack at range, and makes little slime creatures.
Okay. Does the child ever come out from behind the statue, or does they stay back there? The host, the avatar?
They say that it hasn't come out in over 10 years.
What happened 10 years ago? Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. Continue.
No, they just say that once all of the knights were dead, it would come out and, like, randomly place them. And it got bored of doing that, so it just went behind the door, gathered the key pieces to the door, and then shut the door behind it and stayed there 10 years ago.
Okay, so there wasn't any big event. He got tired of his game.
Basically.
Okay, here's my suggestion. I'm gonna get 3 more vials of that goop. And then I say we head outside. Because it sounds like he's not going anywhere. We head outside and run some tests on this and see what we can learn.
Oh, I see where you're going with that. That's a really good idea, actually.
Because if we can do any sort of like figure out how the goop interacts, if there's any way we can get like resistance or immunity to it. Vivian has alchemy proficiency, and like we're kind of out in the woods, but she can probably still do something with it.
If it helps, I have herbology kit like proficiency, so it could probably.
Yeah, that would help. Any objections to that?
None that I can think of. I also think it might be useful to see if the goop has like any resistances or immunities in of itself, because like this dude's probably covered in it, right? So if we figure out what damages the goop, we can probably figure out what damages him, right?
Yeah,
This is my logic.
great. So yeah, I think that with that in mind, she looks over the imps. Are you all going to stay down here, or would you rather come outside with us?
All 4 of them go, follow you, follow you, follow you, like excitedly.
Yeah. We will head back out. Correct me if I'm wrong. We also knew. Was Emery the one who wanted revenge?
Yes, because he was one of the knights of the original order.
Got it. Emery wrote a letter to his son. Please come visit. Knights of the Order is less stressed. Visit, but do not tell anybody. Much love. So that is how he lured his son here to be sacrificed.
That's fucking dark. That's fucked.
Yeah. Okay.
Ugh. This whole situation makes me feel icky.
Yeah, so let's head outside, review some notes. I think who here has a high intelligence and wants to see if they can investigate this book, specifically the sections on what's his face, slime boy or bug boy?
Probably our mage.
Certainly not I. I'm not very well read.
Johnny, would you be able to scour through this book and see what you can learn about him?
Gladly, mistress.
Okay. She is
I can
going
help.
to. Got it. She is going to work with Emiko. I think we're also going to just like set up camp because we may as well get a full long rest in. The imps are being paid with food. They are on the lookout right now, keeping an eye out for anything coming through. Jay and Lythel, I don't know what y'all want to be up to. If you have any plans for anything. But I think the way that this is going to work is that first, Vivian will take we'll say 4 bottles of the little slime, and she's going to set them down in front of her. First thing she's going to do before anything else is she looks over to Emiko, who's helping her, says, all right, I know you have some experience mixing herbs and other natural substances. How much experience do you have with tinctures and potions and concoctions?
I know a little bit, but most of my background is with healing items.
Understood. In that case, we are going to go over a few things just beforehand. One of the most important things that a witch can know when it comes to alchemy is its incredible power, the ability to change the world around you by using the world around you itself. Seems like a paradox, and yet every day we are able to create little miracles. We are able to gaze into the breadth of eternity and make it as small as we need it to be. And with that in mind, there is one thing that is of the utmost importance before we start. And she reaches into her bag and pulls out a pair of safety goggles and a hair tie and hands them to you. Says lab safety is the first and most important thing.
She's gonna like look at you for a moment with her mask and her hair that's already in a braid, and then slowly reach for the goggles and hair tie. She'll slide the goggles onto her face the best she can, with her ears being at the top of her head instead of the sides. And then she'll take the braid and like roll it into like a kind of bun, and then be like, okay, what's next?
Vivian does the same thing. Gail also has a tiny pair of goggles that she puts on. So the weasel is safe. And I think that we are just going to put these through the ringer. We're going to see how they react to oxygen. We're going to see how they react in a vacuum by using Druidcraft to make a little gust of wind to sort of pull it out and then cork it very quickly. We're going to boil it. We're going to set it on fire. We're going to introduce water to it. We're going to do a little bit of everything, starting with the safest, moving up to the more dangerous as time goes along, trying to find out specifically what resistances it has and what effect it had or it would have on us if it came into contact with us, with the intention of finding out more about it and also seeing if there is anything that we can do to protect ourselves. She takes furious notes.
Do you know off the top of your head what stat is usually used for alchemist tools?
Usually either intelligence or wisdom. I would say this to me feels more like intelligence because she's being very methodical here. This isn't like a situation where sometimes when she is doing alchemy, it's like, I feel like I'm called to add in a little bit of this mushroom. I don't know why. I just feel like I should. But then there are times where she's like doing a more investigative thing where it is very, very strict scientific method.
Yeah. Go ahead and make me a check with advantage using your alchemist tools, using intelligence.
Okay, guiding myself. Great. not terrible. It is a 17.
Yeah, so you basically put this slime, as you said, through the ringer. You test it in many different circumstances, and being your party, being as diverse as it is, you are able to do so. You find out that the slime, let me pull this up. You find out that the slime is vulnerable to radiant energy. You find out it is resistant to fire. You find out that it is immune to necrotic and poison. And that it's very hard to move by other forces.
Got it. Do you mind posting that somewhere?
Yeah, I'll put it in your group notes.
Making sure to pass these results along to everybody. Starting in the smallest, simplest words that she can, and then slowly moving on to things a little bit more complex over time, making sure people get the gist of it right off the bat. Okay. So it can be moved, it just can't be knocked prone, because it's slime. It's already prone.
Basically.
Okay. Do we learn anything about ways to protect ourselves from it? Or I guess, like, if it has any certain damage types?
I was about to say, based on what I'm seeing, the way to protect ourselves from it is to put the paladin in front and make him divine smite.
I was gonna say, this does seem like a pretty glorious fight. So
I can't wait for Jay to fucking wreck this guy.
Yeah, but anything else in terms of like damage it deals, or anything weak, or like conditions it may deal?
Does cold necrotic can force con saves?
Yeah,
Do we
it has
get
an
any
effect.
indication as to what happens if we fail the con save?
You can imagine that it's similar to what happened to everything else in the dungeon.
Okay, so some
You will
kind of
start to
draining
be-
effect.
Yeah, you will start to be affected by the rot, as it were.
But to be clear, the rot doesn't have like mind control capabilities, because the imps were still like anti-rot, right?
Yeah,
It kind of just
basically,
made them emaciated, so is it going to give us like levels of exhaustion? That would be bad. That'd be very bad.
basically, you find out that what it does is it gives you penalties to anything you do, but you find out I think this will be as far as you go without making another check. You do find out that any effects the rot gives you, if you are healed by any means, it goes away, which is why the imps felt better because you gave them good berries.
Okay, it's a good berry. Not only gave them sustenance, but also hit points. Okay.
Yeah,
Do
so
we
if
have...
you get healed, so basically what it does is it gives you a penalty to everything by a certain amount rolled when you make the con save. So if you fail the con save, the slime, quote unquote, makes a roll. You have a penalty based on that roll, but if you receive hit points from any source, that effect goes away.
Got it. I was about to ask a question if I could brew something out here, but my assumption is probably not without the actual tools. So I'm going to say no to that. So yeah, I think actually after explaining all that, well, maybe let's do Johnny's thing first, and then I'll go over the idea.
Okay, and what was Johnny looking into?
Specifically looking into the Book of Infernal Hierarchies, figuring out as much as he possibly could about, not Dweeblex, what's the guy's name? Bug Boy?
Bellamentus.
That's the one. Beautiful mantis, if you're fancy.
Yeah, go ahead and make me an investigation check since you're looking into the book itself, seeing if you can find anything. It's a pretty big book.
24 with advantage and guidance.
Yeah, so you find out that there are multiple demons that are basically subservient to Belamantis or come from him, because Belamantis himself is like very into science experiments. One of them that you think fits mostly to what you're dealing with now is called a gorging demon. Basically, they can take many forms, one of them being a slime, and that basically their whole thing is hunger. And different types of gorging demons basically amplify the hunger in other things, and that could be any type of hunger. Hunger for food, hunger for greed, hunger for wealth, anything like that, and that's what they feed off of, is other beings' hunger for whatever concept. They often take advantage of this, and their possession is almost like a disease. Oftentimes, if you are possessed by a gorge demon, you think that you are cursed, or you think that you are sick, and it's usually not the case. The case is usually possession, which is what happened to the Disruptor Knights in this place. They thought that they were cursed, they thought that they were ill, but they weren't. They were suffering from a mass possession from a gorging demon.
Do we have any inclination as to what this demon feeds off of? What hunger it feeds off of?
So far, it seems to be revenge of some kind. It seems to feed off of people's intense emotions that are typically negative. Revenge, vengeance, spite, stuff like that.
True. Hedonistic evil grips these grounds.
So
and Johnny explains this to the party.
Yeah. We compare notes, talk about what we've learned. I imagine this has probably taken a while. Vivian is going to suggest heading back into Mapleview for now and coming back in the next few days. Specifically, she would like to head back to town and see if she can brew up any concoctions or anything to maybe give us advantage on con saves or to give us some other benefit. Additionally, she wants to look into how to end a possession. I know that Mapleview is not exactly the learning capital of the world, but at the very least, it's a little bit more well-stocked than it would be out here in the forest.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys are going to head back to Mapleview?
Well, that's up to everyone else. We could also kind of wing it.
Xander, sighs in exasperation and says, I'm not against going back to the town, but I just know I'm going to be facing the music.
What music is that?
He just holds up the hand with the scales on it, and he says, Mother will most likely talk to me while we are
there. Vivian takes one of the old shitty leather gloves that the knights had, dunks it into the bag and hands it to you. Mother doesn't need to know.
He looks at it for a second, accepts it with a nod, and says, If this works, I will be eating both of my shoes. But we'll slip the glove on.
Hey, Chassiel.
Hey, me.
I'm guessing we already figured it out, but remind me, do we think that there is a way that we could, fix this kid's issue?
Yeah, I'm, legit about that because, Jess, you were it can be healed by any means. So, what if we just, go in there and try to heal him?
Well, okay. So, the thing is, the kid isn't corrupted by slime. It's possessed by a fucking demon. But
I can cast protection from evil and good
I
on
was
it,
just
and then
gonna say
stop it
that.
from being possessed.
Oh.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
Oh.
This is why it's like one of my favorite fucking spells in the game. It's a level 1 spell, stops you from being paralyzed, or not paralyzed, possessed. And if it is a creature type that is evil, then you just say no to it.
All right, here we
To
go.
be willing.
Well, okay,
One
so,
creature touch.
so Chas, if we educated this as like, I don't know, Elwood had to make like a melee spell attack with protection from good and evil, would that be something you would allow us to attempt?
I would say if you want to take the route of trying to save the kid rather than kill him, you know, I'll allow some jerry rigging.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, okay.
So what I would do is I would make it to where the kid makes a charisma saving throw against your
Save DC.
Yeah, because in my mind it would be you're trying to reach towards the kid, not the demon.
Right.
Okay.
And if the kid is able to prevail over the demon, then it is a willing creature at that point and therefore can be subject to the spell.
Correct.
So just to sort of parse this, so assuming everything goes great and we make a brilliant plan, Gelwood walks up, touches the kid, casts protection from good and evil. The kid then has to make a saving throw, or the demon has to make a saving throw against his DC.
More than likely it would be kid.
So the kid wants to fail that save.
So basically it would be the kid would want to succeed.
So the kid would want to succeed against not the demon's possession DC, but against Joey's spell save.
Yes.
And would that then...
You want the demon, so basically both would make the save at the same time. You want the demon to fail, and you want the kid to succeed.
Oh, that's fucking rough.
So demon needs to roll below... What's your DC?
13.
13, which Johnny can reduce. I can silvery barbs now, which I can then immediately give that advantage to the kid.
How can I reduce that?
Don't you have a thing that reduces their next saving throw?
Yeah, oh yeah. Mind Sliver, right?
So we can Mind Sliver to try and reduce that. I can silvery barbs, give it to the kid, and then would that be done? Would that be 1-2 punch down, or is there phase 2 after that?
Basically, what you all deem would probably happen is the Mirlock would then be separated from the kid, and you'd have to fight him, but you wouldn't have to fight him and the kid anymore.
Could I now this is gonna be some jank ass shit, but hear me out. Would it be possible for me to make the save for the kid if I were to cast Lesser Restoration at the same time that we hit him with Gelwood's protection from good and evil?
Make it for the kid?
Yeah, so like I roll the charisma save for the kid.
That would be a great time for a divination wizard with a portent that he can just give to the fucking kid.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I would say not make the roll for him, but I would allow your stats to influence it.
Okay, so effectively I would be making...
Yeah, like basically...
Because he'd be getting my charisma save modifier instead of his own, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, sick. Yeah, I have a much higher chance of succeeding on that, because I get a +6.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
do
little
we
jank,
still...
but I like it.
So we still have the fight.
But
we still have the fight afterward.
Yeah.
Did we, in our studies, learn anything about the gorging demon if it's not possessing something? Like, is it more powerful? Is it the same?
It stays the same. It's just normally if it does its mass possession feature, it has minions, but everything it mass possesses is dead. So I guess you could say it's weaker when it's not possessing something.
Okay, because it doesn't have any possessions.
Because it doesn't have any minions, yeah.
Okay, well that's good. So, okay, I am still on team head back.
What do we need back in town?
I was hoping to make some stuff, some consumables. I was wondering if there's a way that I could like make some kind of like radiant weapon oil and give that to Lysel. I was thinking if there is a way that I could make some kind of potion to give people who are going to be in the front lines or bonuses to their con saves.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we can make holy water if Gelwood uses 10 GP worth of powdered silver.
Do we have 10 GP worth?
I mean, I can be like, hey, y'all got change for 10 GP, and then just take that silver and powder it.
That would be powdered silver.
Yeah, we could try that.
Oh man, if one of the residents of fucking Mapleview watched y'all powder silver, they'd be like, oh my god, that's like my life savings.
Can we put holy water in like a super soaker?
What in the Sam Winchester?
Okay.
Everybody get a mouthful before we go in.
And then spit.
This is...
Wait. So, if I'm not mistaken, actually, we could make vials of the shit and then throw it like acid vials.
Oh.
Actually, not a terrible idea. I don't know if that's the best use case for holy water, but I feel like it's an option.
Chess, would I be able to, if I had alchemist tools, would I be able to make any of the things that I'm not familiar with your crafting rules? I'm sorry. I don't think I've seen them yet, or if I have, they are buried somewhere.
They're probably.
Would I be?
I would know it.
Okay, because, and I guess what is the quantity of things I would be able to make?
I would say you'd definitely be able to make, with the stuff that you have access to and the stuff in the area, I'd say you'd probably be able to make 3 of those constitution potions. They'd work for a minute, which is more than enough time.
And what do they do? Do they give you like a flat bonus? Do they give you advantage? What's up?
I would say, real quick, preemptively for me, that would be based on how good they are, would be based on the check that you make when you make them.
Okay.
Which
I guess we'll do when we get back to town, because now it feels like we have plans back in town.
Well, that tells me it's not going to be just advantage then, because just advantage would be, you know.
Well, if I roll like shit, it might just be advantage, hopefully. So yeah. I guess we'll see.
Something telling me the boys are back in town.
Hell yeah. And then any radiant oil that I could make?
Yeah, making radiant oil is kind of easy. Or holy water is kind of easy. Holy water is even easier. You just have to have someone bless water. Which is, you know, find someone of the holy make and ask them to bless your water.
Hey, we have one. He's right there.
Yeah.
Of course I know.
I'm trying to find, I feel like didn't we have like radiant oil in the admin campaign?
Yeah.
And we put it in a bag of holding that became a nuclear bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember what that did. Was it just like an extra 2d4 radiant or something?
Legalized nuclear bomb.
Fucking something like that.
Chas, is this another thing I'd have to roll to know how good it is?
For the radiant oil?
Yeah.
No, radiant oil is always like pretty static. Adds an extra 1d6.
Okay, so I can make...
Well, it's 1d4 to regular creatures, but if the creature is vulnerable to radiant, it's a d6.
So
we hit this kid before we do everything.
I
with like holy water.
Normally, I would
rather
just suggest knocking the kid unconscious, and then we can unpossess him. But if we go that route, I don't have a way of damaging him without risking his life.
Well, and
Yeah.
also, I think that we want to. I don't know. I guess charisma saves can still happen when you're incapacitated. But like, if we want him to make saves, I feel like he would have to be awake, right? Yeah, and Elwood's gonna stab a lot. That's just like not great. We can avoid it. I'm gonna throw wolves at him. Okay, so I think we. What time is it here?
By this point, it is much later in the day. It is just before sundown.
How long was the journey out here? It's like less than an hour because it was
Yeah.
close to town.
Yeah, maybe just about an hour.
Yeah, let's head back to town. Sleep in a bed tonight.
Some rest does sound nice. Been a bit of a long day.
Okay. Along the way, keeping an eye out for any ingredients I might need.
Yeah, make me an investigation check.
Sure.
I'm guessing the imps are staying behind you.
Hey, Imps, you want to come to town with us?
Not safe.
Yeah, probably not. 20 on the investigation check.
Yeah, so on your way back, you actually find a few really good ferns and some really good mushrooms for what you're looking for. There's like some tree mushrooms that work really nice. Then you find a few nuts that'll make the potions like taste better. Which, doesn't matter too much, but, makes them more bearable to take.
Sure. Yeah, it's the little touches that matter. Great. So yeah, we get back into town. Real quick before bed, gonna check on Mr. Sherperder.
Hearst?
What was his name?
What does that mean?
Mr.
Hearst?
Yeah, that's the one. Check on Mr. Hurst. Make sure he's doing okay.
Spit it out, man.
Yeah, when you, Yeah, you go back to the Fleckhart estate, which also has the doctors, and, Hearst is still there with his wife, Thimble. And, the doctor, doesn't seem to be in at the moment, but they both wave at you when you peek in. Oh, hello!
Okay.
Do you have
Mr. and Mrs.
for
Hurst.
us?
Yes, the creature that attacked you has been dispatched and won't be bothering anyone again.
She, cheers excitedly and then gets up and walks over towards this basket that is, huddled, at the end of the bed. And she, takes out a book and a small leather sack. And she walks over to you and just says, "Take these, please."
Oh. She starts to say, "I can't possibly," but then she sees a book and she's like, "What's the book?"
Oh, well, this book is something very, very important to me. It belonged to my grandmother, and it is a book on the different flora throughout Farwood and what they can be used for, be it tea, cooking, potion brewing. It's my favorite
yeah.
book.
She's going to take it and flip through it. She's decidedly not looking at. Well, she's technically she's just looking straight forward, and Gail's looking, but she is not looking at the coin purse right now. Flips through the book. Does this look like stuff I already know?
No, actually.
Having grown up in Farwood, but okay, so this is like some niche knowledge.
Yeah, actually, and it's also very expansive. there's some of these where you knew like a base use for it, but then you read this book and you're like, damn, I didn't know you could use those for that. That's actually really smart.
She, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like an expansion on stuff you already know.
Okay. She, like, holds it and, like, looks through it, and then she says, this was your mother's book?
Yes. My grandmother wrote it, gave it to her, and then she gave it to me.
Who was your grandmother? This is very expensive.
Well, my grandmother, her name was Bumble, and everyone viewed her as a nasty witch, but truly she was a wonderful woman. She knew everything there was to know about flowers and all the ways that they could be used, but she was driven away from her town that she lived in. Her and my mother, that is. So, we all came here, and we've been here ever since. She passed about 10 years ago, unfortunately. As did my mother.
So, Vivian starts, like, doing mental math in her head, because this ancient old lady's like, yeah, my grandma died 10 years ago. Damn.
Yeah.
Which indeed.
That kid's young, it's all good.
Yeah. Her mom and her grandmother, meaning that they both lived at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think... does Mrs. Bumble mean anything to me? I guess technically I might have known her if she only died 10 years ago.
Yes. In fact, she was, I wouldn't say great friends with your mentor, but they exchanged notes quite often and they got along rather well. I won't even make you roll for it. That is a name that you recall rather easily.
Yeah, I think that I'll share, like, some memories about, like, having known Mrs. Bumble. Was she called Mrs. Bumble because she does bee stuff? Because Vivian's all fucked up on some bee stuff.
Yeah, so basically her name was Bumble actually, but she kind of like honed in on it and made that her entire aesthetic. So she wore striped sweaters and had this like fur collar around her neck to make her look like a bumblebee. Like that was her whole shtick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because like gnomes usually have cute little names like that, so her name was just Bumble, but everyone called her Mrs. B or Mrs. Bumble, and she like leaned into the bee aesthetic of it all real hard.
Yeah. Do gnomes have a longer lifespan in Kilmra? Than like a human would?
I actually have this written down somewhere. I think they live
It's not
longer.
super important for now, but yeah.
I think they live longer than humans do on average.
Okay. Yeah, I think that she is going to take the book and she's going to close it and she's going to hold it in front of her. And both her and Gale will meet the eyes of Mrs. Hurst. And she says two things. First of all, have you been practicing the ritual that I told you?
Yes, we have, every night.
And every morning, I hope.
Indeed.
She nods. And just to be clear, I'm getting like no indication of any sort of witchiness from this lady, right?
No, she seems
does not seem like she picked up on the craft.
No, she did not. She seems like just a typical old woman.
Okay. And I say, second of all, very important. I'm glad that you told me this. Mrs. Bumble was a friend of my mentor, and I was lucky enough to know her sometimes. However, you should know that any witch who takes the gold of another witch can come under the curse of greed. Something that we are taught at a very young age, so I'm sorry I cannot take that coins from you. However, taking knowledge from another witch is a sacred craft. And so, in honor of your grandmother and your mother, I will cherish this. And she takes the book.
I understand, Yuri.
Is that... I hate to be that guy. Is that gold up to offer for everybody?
I mean,
yeah, I guess I should check how much.
It it was 24 gold pieces.
Well, I'm not a witch, so I'll take it.
Oh, Jay's here.
I follow you everywhere. You should know this.
I would assume that I should know.
And blind.
You're very loud.
Whoa. I don't think we should take this money either.
Oh my goodness, another one.
Yeah, she'd go.
He looks over at Gale. The fuck? Keep an eye out.
She would just like hold up her hands like, please. It won't make me poorly or unable to live. Anything is. I don't even think this is enough, considering that you have slain the beast that almost killed my husband. In fact, he's recovering, and he's at a point now where they won't need to send him to the city anymore.
So.
Oh no, trust me. Any amount greater than 0 is glorious, but I'm not going to insult you by refusing it. So please. And he's gonna take the gold.
All right.
Yeah, it is 24 gold pieces.
Now, if you guys want any of this, I'm more than willing to share it amongst you as party members. That is something that a knight should do.
We can talk about that outside.
But please stop refusing money from strangers.
Okay. So to be clear, I don't know how Chasa's economics work. An unskilled laborer, such as a farmer, makes 2 silver a day, roughly equating to about 72 gold a year.
No,
We've taken a third of this woman's yearly salary.
Yeah, no, this is.
And
she said that it was her life savings.
Yeah. Which, hey, it's 24 gold and we need all we can get. So, like.
Yeah, you know.
All your bliss.
She believes that you saving her beloved husband is worth her life savings and her favorite book. But she also did promise that it wouldn't put her and her husband in a bad way, and...
Alright,
you know?
yeah.
She seems very
we can
that this is not going to, like, damage her well-being.
Vivian says we can talk about distribution outside. You said the doctor is not here?
Yeah, no. Thimble actually will bring up that she's out getting more medicine from her actual house.
Do you know where her house? I asked, where is her house?
It just up the road. 2 houses down, just before the one on the hill.
Good. Glad to hear that you are well. Vivian tucks the book in her bag and is going to head out.
Have a good night now, dearies.
And she is going to try and intercept the good doctor. Dude, do my 2 shadows follow me?
Hell yeah.
All right, let's go.
3 shadows.
Ah!
Xander shows up with some popcorn.
Oh, hey.
Where'd you get that?
Never mind that. Where did you all run off to?
Well, hang on. Now we have to get Lysel, or else they're going to think we left them out intentionally.
No, I was the whole time. They just haven't said anything.
Ah! This is great.
I was wondering where all of you went. I turned around and all of you were gone, so I thought I'd get a snack.
Oh my god, why?
I had the opposite reaction. I turned around and everyone was fucking there.
I was very, very curious because I didn't understand how Sir Elwood could have escaped my notice. But then I realized I was horribly distracted by a very particularly pretty bird, so happens.
Is this bird like an actual bird, or is this a bird as in someone you want to bang?
No, it's a cardinal. It's right over there.
A cardinal like a holy man?
No.
Why would you bang birds?
If you said it was... Wait. How is this confusing you?
It's a bird, as in a small feathered creature.
Also, do any?
If he had already said it was a bird, why would you think that he would go back on his word and say that it was a man?
If it was a man, trust me, if it was a man, I would be very forthright with that. No, I legitimately just got a snack and did some bird watching.
Vivian has left. Vivian is leaving.
Also, does anyone have have the doctor's name on hand. I accidentally deleted the note with her name on it, and I can't fucking remember it.
The doctor was a girl?
Yeah.
Fucking shows on
Only
the
family members of the girl.
God, where the fuck is the note? With the
Dr.
note?
Niez.
Thank you. I remembered the fucking N part of it, but I couldn't remember any other part of it, and I accidentally deleted the note with her name on it.
Isn't Niez?
Also, that whole
French for nose.
maybe that whole scene gave me a great excuse to make a nighttime version of the Mapleview theme. So I'm gonna upload that real quick in case anybody wants to listen with me.
Yeah, can we take a break to listen to that song? Can we just like stop playing for a bit, please?
That's not what I meant.
That's what I mean.
Would you like to do
Stop
that,
meaning
Groove?
that.
Yeah, like all of us.
All right, someone put it on now or group activity or something.
No. Play the fucking game.
Okay, I appreciate you listening to me, Minnow. I'm glad somebody.
Why did I upload this thing?
All right, while Allie's doing that, I am going to find the doctor. I guess we're all going to find the doctor.
I think Lissel's actually going to take off to reserve them a spot at the tavern, because I imagine we're going to be retiring pretty soon here. Gonna want some drinks. Celebration for just defeating the dinosaurs and undead and other various things we fought.
And then tomorrow we save a child.
Yeah, as
Indeed.
she's walking out of her house, and she's carrying a bunch of crates with like bottles in it, and she like walks down the steps, and she peers over the, she peers around the boxes and just, oh, hello.
Dr. Niez, let us help you with that. I look up. Jay, Sir Elwood, help her with that.
Yes.
Yeah, she like still holds on to like one crate, but lets you take some of them off the top of the main one that she's holding, and she goes, oh, thank you. I needed to restock my office, so since Thimble was in and I had no other patients, I thought it would be a good time. Seems like you all caught me at the best time, too. Ah.
You're welcome.
Dr. Niez, we have some questions, and I was hoping that perhaps you would have a bit more information.
Oh, of course.
Right. Sorry.
You're alright.
What's up?
Can I roll an insight check on this doctor?
Yeah.
When you said hey like that, I couldn't tell if you actually had something you wanted to do or if you're like yelling at a cat.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Hey!
Oh, Jesus, sorry.
Cut that shit out!
bastard!
I can't read the.
Oh no!
They're the dice.
The dice that you gave me.
Oh no!
Okay, it's a
didn't wanna
16.
ask. I almost didn't want to ask.
Alright, and what are you making the insight check for?
Does she seem like sketched out a bit? Like, does she seem like frantic at all? Or like, is what she's saying like true, what she's actually doing?
That does seem what she's doing. She is restocking, but she does seem a little frazzled, like something's bothering her.
Emiko is gonna kind of like size her up for a moment and then tilt her head to the side and be like, "Are you okay?"
Who, me? Oh, yes, I'm fine. Just a little busy, that's all. Why do you ask?
You seem frazzled.
Emiko, make me a persuasion check.
Oh god.
Guidance.
Xander is going to help Emiko in this by chiming in and saying, "Yes, if there's anything bothering you, we of course can lend a hand."
Persuasion. Fuck. 13.
With advantage?
Yep.
With
Fuck.
guidance?
Yep.
Oh no.
13 is enough. And she
Oh, thank God.
sighs and just says, I've just been thinking about my cousin lately. That's all. My, cousin Arethel, she went missing recently, and try as I might, nobody seems to be taking me seriously and looking for her, and she hasn't returned for 4 days. Getting nervous. Here, let me go set these things down in my office and we can talk more about it.
Certainly.
Of course.
Yeah, she goes back to the estate and she sets her things down and organizes it real quick, and then she basically does what she needs to get Hearst to sleeping, and she kindly asks Miss Thimble to leave, and she does. And then she turns out the lights and, locks the door behind her once she is sure that Hearst is asleep. Would you all like some tea? I can brew some back at the house.
I think we are fine. I believe that drink something a bit more intense in a few minutes once we're done here.
Well, not too long ago, my cousin, Arethel Cullowed, went missing. However, people have the wrong idea about Arethel. She's really nice, and, well, being a small town such as this, people, she whispers, they keep accusing her of being an evil witch. And she's not. She's a very upstanding young lady. Just a little strange. But there's nothing wrong with her, and I just feel like she's gone missing and everyone has brushed it aside.
You say they accuse her of being an evil witch.
And it's for a reason that's not her fault. She's ill. And
I assure you, she says, just gently tilting the hat, the ignorance of the masses is not new to me.
yeah, well, basically, several years back, she ate something she wasn't supposed to, and it gave her an incurable illness. I say incurable, you can get rid of it for maybe a few weeks at a time, but it always comes back, and it's from a magical mushroom she ate while foraging, and she thought it was a regular mushroom, and it wasn't. Her arms grow bark. So it makes her hands look like claws, and from her fingertips to her forearms, they are covered in bark. Gives her a kind of off-putting appearance. And, well,
That wasn't very smart.
No, but she was just a little girl. She had all these things that she wanted to do, and her parents were irresponsible. They're not around anymore. And,
Clearly she inherited it.
maybe. But this illness, it makes her life a lot harder, but people keep mistaking bark on her arms from the illness as basically the signs of mutation of, when witches start turning to hags. Best way I can say it. But she's not, and I don't mean that as in, she is tricked. No, I was teaching her to be a doctor like myself. It's just she wanted to involve magic in her practice as well, and, she sighs and just says, she went missing 4 days ago, and I can't get anyone to look for her. And I was so busy taking care of Hearst and making sure that he didn't die, and, I thought maybe she just went on a foraging trip, but she hasn't been back in 4 days, and I'm really...
Do you know where about she would have gone?
Likes to go to this little pond. I checked there, though, and she wasn't there, but it's her favorite place to go, and she likes to pick the reeds that grow there, and it's her favorite spot, but I couldn't find anything. But I also didn't necessarily get to look too in depth. I had to return back to town. Now, I will say, someone from the tavern did tell me that one of the Blue Tongue brothers saw her, but I haven't gotten the chance to talk to him because I've been so busy making sure that person.
One of the Blue Tongue brothers, you said?
Yes. There's 3 of them. I believe someone from the tavern told me that Sarah's something, but I haven't gotten a chance to talk to him.
Do you believe that anyone would... She, shifts uncomfortably in her seat. There are things that happen sometimes to young women that look strange. Things that otherwise good people can lose control of themselves and make decisions that you never thought they were capable of.
Oh goodness, I hope not.
Do you believe that that is a possibility? You know this town better than I do.
I truly don't think anything like that can happen. I don't think anyone here has the time or energy or really anything, something like that. Typically, in Maple View, if people don't like somebody, they just chase them out. Just make them feel so alone that they end up leaving on their own accord. They ignore them or, basically just make people feel unwelcome so they leave of their own volition. But I've never heard of murders in this area. Nothing like that.
Let's assume that there was someone in particular that you feel maybe had the lowest opinion of your cousin. Who would that person be?
Oh. There's a young woman who bartends sometimes at Gatherer's Corner. Her and Erithil didn't get along ever since they were little girls. But this young lady just always took it a step too far. She's pushed her into ponds or pulled her hair, or they used to fight a lot when they were children, and by the time they were both grown, they seemed to just settle with staying away from one another. But if there's anyone in this town who I think hates Erithil, it would be her. Her name's Mary.
And this bullying that Mary used to do, was that accompanied by any anti-witch fervor?
I'd say she mostly just added it to her antagonizing. I feel like she just repeated what other townsfolk said just because she knew it would hurt.
Understood. So she disliked Erithil quite a bit. Were there any of the townsfolk that whispered things more often about her being a witch? Or anyone that was particularly concerned about her ailment?
One of the person who originally made a big fuss out of it was one of the farmers. I only know him by his last name. That's how everyone introduces themselves around here a lot of the time, unless you are personal friends. But everyone just calls him Mr. Stone. He's one of the oldest individuals in Mapleview, and he's created the most stir about it. He's the one that spread the rumor that the bark growing on her skin was a sign of the mutation. He also usually hangs out at Gathering Corner.
And he is very old, you said?
He is.
Would you say that perhaps,
Oh, go ahead.
hypothetically, if there is a horrible scare, do you feel that perhaps his heart would not stand up to such a test? If, say, someone was to frighten him rather badly? Hypothetically speaking, of course.
She, thinks and says, oh, well, possibly, I guess. I've never really thought that long and hard into it.
Thank you for indulging my curiosity. She gives us general directions to the place where she checked for her before. The place she said was her favorite place.
Yeah, she'll give you that information on where you can find that little pond.
Okay. We are in the midst of another job right now, but hopefully by the time we finish that, she will be back. If not, I will see what I can do for her. We are also going to be in town for at least another day, so perhaps we can check around in the meantime.
Yeah,
Maybe pay some visits.
I'd appreciate that. Mary usually works in the morning at the inn, but let me grab something for you. And she runs into her house real quick, because you've been having this conversation just on her steps. And she comes out and she says, I know it's just a painting, but if you find anything, and she hands you it looks like a painted picture of Arethel. I'll put it. It's still in its frame, and she goes, this is what she looks like. I got this commissioned a few years ago. If the worst has come to pass, it'll at least help you identify her. But I really hope it.
I'm sure she'll be just fine. I hate to bring this up after this discussion, but we did come here because we had some questions of our own.
Oh, yeah, I had forgotten. I apologize for sidetracking.
It is no matter. Just for the sake of brevity, and kind of yada yada it, does she know anything about ending possessions? Anything about protections against what we're going up against? Will she let me use her alchemical lab and any other advice she can give us?
She will let you use her, because you are offering to help her find her cousin, she will let you use her alchemical lab. A lot of the things she knows about possessions are, I would say, I don't want to say they sound like old wives' tales, but it views it from a medicinal viewpoint rather than a, magical standpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To give a real-world example, you know how people say, an exorcism has been successful if the person throws up?
Right.
Stuff like that.
So, things that technically in this world could be true.
Yeah.
But, not necessarily. Got it?
Yeah. And she also tells you that there is a weed that grows nearby that can help make your Constitution saving throw potion, to just be plain about what it is, a bit stronger.
Great. Make sure to collect that in the morning.
Yeah, and normally what it's used for is to keep people from throwing up.
Great.
She gathers it all the time, and since it's a weed, not a regular plant, it grows a lot.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
Great. Does anybody have any other questions for her? About either this or about her cousin? take that as a no. All right, so I will thank her for her time. Tell her that we will do our best. And very casually, just sort of almost conversationally, as I'm walking out, by the way, I happen to know where Mary lives.
Mary lives in one of the small huts out in the picking fields with her mother and father. It's the one with the rose bushes out front. Why?
I was just curious. Thank you for indulging my curiosity.
Of course. Well, if any need anything, you now know which house is mine, and from sunrise to sunset, I am at the Blackheart Estate working as the doctor, so just let me know.
Yeah, we'll take off.
Yeah, so do all of you go back to the tavern?
Yes. Has the sun gone down yet?
Oh yeah, by now it is well below the trees.
Yeah, wait a little bit longer. But let's go.
You go and buy a set of Smith's tools once we're back.
Yeah, I think this tool only costs like what?
20.
20.
I can French you some of that if you need it.
All good. How long is it going to take to repair this plate armor? Or the half plate first?
I'd say make me a roll with your Smith's tools real quick.
Okay. In Rollbound 1, we used intelligence. Would you still like for me to make an intelligence check?
Yes.
I would like to be guided.
You are guided.
Thank you for guiding me. I'll do this asleep as well for advantage.
What a wild sentence.
And is this for the regular... I have a quick question. Is this for the regular half plate that you got off of the animated armors? Or are you trying to repair the Disruptor Knight armors?
This is, we'll start with set of Disruptor armor, since that's what Johnny has on him.
Okay.
Let's say 17.
So I'd say it would probably take 16 hours of work hours to fix it completely. It was very badly damaged and aged, so it would take you some time.
Okay. And the others?
The full plate, it would probably take you 20 flat, but for the half plate armor that you got off of the animated armor, since that's regular armor, it would only take you 6.
6 hours?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was also dunked in the bag of restoring, so it's largely fixed. Just needs to be reassembled.
Yeah. Well, also the Disruptor Knight armor is magical, so it's just gonna take more work to repair those to begin with.
Okay. We're going to be here for a couple days, right?
I think we're planning on one because I don't want the trail for Ethereal to get cold. So I'm wondering if tomorrow I work on the potions, you work on the armor, and other people who are not working on something can follow up on some leads. So that way we don't waste a whole day of her being missing.
Yeah, Emiko can look around the lake because she has a pretty good survival and everything.
Xander will go with you.
Lysel will be able to help with that as well.
And
Since
I think
Jeff
that's
said work hours, it would be 2 work days minimum, since you have 8 work hours.
to do the that because you want the Disruptor Knight armor.
Yes.
Okay. I am totally fine leaving the demon boy where he is for now. He doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. So I think if we spend all day tomorrow searching and we feel like there's more leads to search for, we can totally take 2 days. But if it's like, hey, she's been the kobolds have her, and they're gonna eat her alive. And like, we should probably plan to move. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Okay. So let's plan for 2 days for now, but be okay with if it's only one.
So Vivian and Johnny are going to stay back in town, making potions and fixing armor, and then the rest of the party is going to go out and look for signs of Aerithil.
Well, let's head back to the tavern for now. We'll check in with Lysel, who has been saving us seats and hopefully ordering us all drinks. We will. Did we get rooms?
Yeah, you guys got room.
Okay. We will bring Lysel up to speed. So, Dakota, do you have any thoughts on the plan so far? Taking tomorrow to do a bunch of stuff to prepare while the rest of you check on some leads?
No, it makes more sense when you explain away the fact that the kid's not really going to be going anywhere.
Yeah, hopefully. It would be, if he's going somewhere, we fucked up bad.
Turns out this is his last day of preparation for his fun's take over the world. We're all fucked.
Oh, damn it.
Campaign over, goodbye. No.
Can't believe Chas did us like that.
GG, guys, reload the last save.
Yeah. All right, man, that was the end of Kelmra.
All of Calmra, fucking gone, wiped off the map in an instant.
Do we think that some of us should stay back in town asking about her with, like, townsfolks? Like...
I think we'll have 8 work hours, and Johnny never needs to stop. So, another 16? No.
I mean, if you'd like to do that, then what we can do, since so we have 2 ways that we can go about it, because obviously Vivian and Johnny are gonna, their days are set, right? But we can split up into like a 2-team situation where one team, does some field work, goes and sees if they can find a lead on this individual, and then the other 2, do some schmoozing around town, see if they can find anything. If we're doing it that way, then it makes sense to me to either have the 2 charisma-based people like hang back in town and talk to people, or we can do 2 pairings of Emiko and Xander, and then Lysel and Jay, or some combination.
I think it's probably a better idea for 2 marshals to leave and like the 2 charisma people stay, because I feel like you're gonna get more information that way.
I mean,
you give each other advantage, and we give each other advantage.
Yeah.
So you're both also whiz people.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Because like coverage is nice, but I feel like advantage is better.
That's probably fair, and also that way, well, no, because for some reason I thought Lysel had guidance for a second, but you don't. I'm dumb. But I have it, so there's that. Yeah. That sounds like a good idea to me.
We should also all plan to meet at some point. We'll plan to meet at before sunset. How about? So we can, talk about how things are going, whatnot, as best as possible. I don't think we have any long range communication yet, but I do recognize that we are sending out one of the teams into the woods, and these were team mimics. So I do recognize there is an inherent risk that the 2 of you will run off and just punch an elephant if you see one. But just be careful. Just keep in mind, come get us if things look crazy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
I'm sure we'll be fine.
I feel like for sending out a team that might, get into a scrap or 3, you could do worse than a monk and a reaper, certainly.
Sure. Just don't die. This is in character. Vivian's just like, hey, we need to have a little talk. I happen to notice a couple tendencies. I just want to go over those real quick. She pulls out a long list, and it's itemized with bullet points. So I noticed that you both just went straight to the chest, right? And I feel like I don't need to explain that. And like it goes on for a while like this, but
Xander is going to send them with 30 good berries.
Goddamn.
hell yeah.
A lot of fucking good berries.
I get them back after an hour, so fucking why not, right?
Nice.
So, is there anything you guys want to settle in the tavern before you gear down for a long rest?
Well, I mean, Xander's gonna find somebody to accompany his evening, so to speak. But we don't get to dwell on that.
What does that
I have
mean? What do you mean by that?
Oh no.
He's trying to fuck.
They're gonna play chess.
He wants to fuck.
I have something to do, but it's not in the tavern. So if there's anything else here,
Are you gonna go pay a visit to a particularly vile individual on the outskirts of town, perhaps?
for the sake of plausible deniability, I'm going straight to bed. Johnny,
Oh,
could you assist me in a little project?
Of course.
Don't say that right before bed.
Vivian blinks slowly, just ignores Jelwood.
Jelwood didn't say that. Joey did.
Okay, well, from the cosmos beyond, she felt that. Okay. So yeah, if everyone else is done, she's going to ask Johnny if he would like to help her in a project and would like to go pay a visit to Mr. Stone.
Yeah. So, Mr. Stone is another one of the farmers that just kind of lives out in the picking fields.
Yeah. To be clear, we're doing this late at night when he is asleep.
Yeah, and his, little fucking mailbox that's not even really a mailbox. It's like a wooden fucking crate that the, lid is, hinged onto it. But it, it's labeled.
Okay.
Yeah, just as Mr. Stone painted in, shitty black paint on the side.
Peek inside.
Yeah, he has a little cot. You can tell that this is definitely, Mapleview is already pretty poor, but this is definitely the poorer side of town. He sleeps in, a little cot, and there's, a cooking, pit in the middle, that has, a kettle hanging from hanging above some embers.
Mm-hmm. Does it,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Oh, no, he is fast asleep.
Okay. I look over to Johnny. I'm going to say, an occupational hazard of the lifestyle that I live is that I have dealt with several Mr. Stones in the past. Now, fortunately, the town that I am from, I would say is a good town, and I would also say that my mentor is able to make sure that it is a good town and that Mr. Stones know to keep their opinions to themselves. A girl like Atharl would not have that protection, and so, therefore, people like Mr. Stone see something that is strange, they see something that is odd, and their minds turn to torches and pitchforks. I would like to remind him that he is not quite so large as he thinks he is. And I would also like to know if he knows anything about her. But either way, we will be preventing an evil before it can happen, even if he had nothing to do with her disappearance. Is this something I can rely on you for?
Wordlessly. How far away are we from him?
No more than 10 feet. His bed is right by his window.
Excellent. Is there total cover? Is the window closed?
No. It is closed, but it doesn't really have any curtains. Can't afford them.
Yeah, it's total cover if there's a window, so we need to find some gap to see him through.
Do you have these tools?
These tools. Is there a latch on the window?
Honestly, if you test it, you can just open it. Again.
Okay, yeah, crack it open.
This little hut is held together with fucking hope and tears. You can tell all the repairs to it are made by him. And, everyone in this town trusts one another, so it's not like his shit's locked. But you realize that he has this little pole where if he wanted to keep his window open, he would have to like move this bar up and get it stuck in order to hold his window open.
Yeah, Johnny looks around through the window, and I want to attempt to glean some information about this man, about his reservations, what he cares about, what he puts his stake in. Are there any shrines? Are there any photos of loved ones, that sort of thing?
Make me a perception check.
Yeah, I didn't help. Or I guess I'll do it myself if I can't help.
You should probably just do it.
Yeah.
And I can help you.
Better? Better if I roll better. 14?
Okay, so a few things you can glean about Mr. Stone by looking at how he decorates his hut. He has an unenchanted amulet of Guinevere, meaning that that is the goddess that he, pledges himself to. He doesn't have any, like, pictures or paintings or anything like that of family members, but he does have his first ever pair of work gloves that he has in, like, a little, like, frame that he has, and he also, seems to just, in general, take pride in his work, the town of Mapleview itself. But other than that, his cot isn't very well decorated. He has a collection of teas, where he has like a little shelf with a bunch of jars in it that have dried teas of different varieties. So he likes the goddess Guinevere, he takes pride in his work, and he likes...
And Guinevere is what goddess?
Guinevere is one of the 6. She is the goddess of life.
We know that, right? Yeah, okay.
There's only 5 others. You can probably remember that.
Rejected, yeah. So, Johnny looks to this man through the window, slightly ajar. And first, I would like to sense the dreams coming from this man. I get a sense of his nature.
Make a perception check at advantage for your dreams.
It's a 19.
Yeah, you look at him, and currently, he is dreaming of himself when he was younger, saving people from, saving people from a dinosaur attack on the farm.
Wow. Yeah, so Johnny looks to the man, and the activation of his technique claps his hands together, fingers pointing outward at him. And he is first going to take the appearance of a villager, a fine hero, a one that Mr. Stone would certainly remember. And as he's fighting off the dinosaur, this villager comes in and throws a great spear, felling the dinosaur. He approaches Mr. Stone, and they celebrate and shake hands. And he offers to come in for a cup of tea so that they may share stories between them. By the way, Mr. Stone is charmed by me.
Alright, yeah, so the younger Mr. Stone in his dream, triumphantly, like, raises his hand and walks him back to his home and, starts brewing tea.
And what is the young missing girl's name?
Arethil Cullowid.
Yeah, Arethil. Yeah, so while they're talking, the topic of Arethil comes up. And the young man asks Mr. Stone, so what do you think of that Arethil girl? Pretty weird, ain't she?
Nah, she's nothing but trouble. She's gonna go dark here pretty soon, I guarantee it. You seen that bark growing on her arms? She's gonna get us all killed here soon, doing all that dark magic.
Thinking about doing anything about it? Have you done anything about it?
Bah! Nah, I don't have the heart to go around killing anybody, but I will spread the word. I spread the word when it matters. Let them know of the dangers. Then they can all settle that out for themselves.
I see if he's being truthful.
Make an insight check.
16.
Yes.
Advantage.
Seems to be telling the truth, but then he adds on top of it,
Also, that girl wanders into the woods by herself all the time. If she's not careful, something will nab her eventually. Almost got herself attacked by a pack of raptors one time. Had the entire town worried about it.
Okay, so this guy seems like he is certainly averse to Arithel, but would not so much that he would harm her in any way.
yeah, wouldn't kill her.
Okay. Yeah, and as he turns around to hand over the tea, he instead sees the figment of the goddess Guinevere staring down at him. And she spreads her arms out and gazes down upon him. Tell me, my child, why do you forsake your sister, another of my children?
What?
Like, the young figment of him, like, suddenly grovels on the ground, like, dropping to his knees, bowing, and just says,
My goddess, please. I'm not sure what you mean.
She is my child, just as you are, and yet you have othered the girl, shunned her, treated her improperly. For what reason would you do this? Do you dare disrespect your goddess?
No, Guinevere. I just wanted to keep the other townsfolk safe.
Is she not one of the townsfolk, Mr. Stone?
He, like, starts to shake and just says,
I didn't mean for. I just wanted to make sure that she didn't hurt anyone with any of her practices. Please, my goddess, you have to believe me.
Raise your head, Mr. Stone. I know you had the best intentions, but to forsake one of my children is blasphemous. Has this Erithil done any harm to you or your village?
No, not yet.
Not yet. But if you cast her out, cast her aside, evil will fester in her heart, and then, shut off from the love and guidance of her brothers and sisters, she may turn to wrongdoing. Would you wish that of one of my children?
No, Guinevere.
and, like, Vivian, you would see that, like, the actual old man himself is, like, sobbing.
Yeah, Vivian's face completely placid, staring at this person.
Yeah, and Johnny goes up and will touch his chin and raise his head to meet the eyes of Guinevere. Then, tell me, my child, as I know you are so devoted, what will you do to right this wrong? To enable Erithil to feel my love?
Well, I don't right know. She's gone missing, and oh no.
And the, like, younger visage of him suddenly looks terrified, like,
She's been missing, and the entire town has ignored it.
oh.
I'll talk to the younger folk. Maybe they can go find her.
Very well. And once she is found, will you continue to cast her out?
No, Guinevere. I'll apologize to her.
Yeah, and the figment of Guinevere goes in and gives him a great warm hug. And as she does, just out of sight, a bit of wet, warm secretion falls on Mr. Stone's shoulder. He takes it as tears of joy, but really and truly, Johnny is salivating. And with that, the dream ends.
Does that wake him up? Well,
I need to do a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, he needs to make a wisdom save?
Yeah. And it does not say that they wake up at the end of it.
Okay. That's a 10.
Yes. So Mr. Stone will perceive this interaction as a prophecy or omen.
Yeah, but he like fitfully turns in his sleep and grunts and groans. He's an old man, but he doesn't wake up.
Johnny, would it throw off everything you just did if I follow up by waking him up?
Oh, well, so this makes Johnny unconscious, but the other Dreamweaver feature says that while you're unconscious, you can just continue acting as normal. So this whole time, he's just been like sitting and watching with Vivian.
Okay. Because if you're okay with it, she wants to, seal the deal. So I think she gives you very particular orders, which is that she's going to speak with him, and as necessary, she wants you outside, out of his view, just like casting subtle spells to make things creepier. As best you can. So yeah, she is going to, I think after a few moments of this, he wakes up because it's strange. There is the overwhelming smell of rotting apples as Vivian casts Druidcraft. He looks over and he sees in the center of the room, sitting in his chair next to what was embers, but is now a roaring green fire that she is controlling with control flames. The light is dimmed in it, and inside there are what look like the shades and shadows of, it's hard to make out immediately, but it looks like a girl running and someone chasing her and pursuing her. And she is sitting in his chair staring at him, and she is drinking his tea. And he looks over and there's a cup of tea next to his bed as well. And she says, "It's time to wake up, Mr. Stone."
And outside there is harmonious magic, an ode to Guinevere from Minor Illusion.
Yeah, at first he like moves to turn around and like go, "What the fuck is that?" But then his focus is interrupted as he turns back to Vivian, and he says,
Who are you? What are you doing in my house?
She is just like looking down into her tea and says, "You should drink your tea, Mr. Stone. I would hate for it to get cold."
Yeah, he very awkwardly reaches for the tea and takes a sip and says,
Are you gonna tell me what this is about?
I was 9 years old. The first time someone threw rocks at me for being different. It was a man about your age screaming at me about the horrible things that I would do, the horrible things that he knew I had done. Just a few days before, I had mended his son's broken leg. Seems that he didn't have any problems with my dark magic then. Why do you think that changed? Mr. Stone. The light of the fire gets dimmer.
I guess you're going to tell me?
No, Mr. Stone. You are going to tell me. What is it that makes an otherwise reasonable man find the smallest, most delicate person he can and throw rocks at them? Mr. Stone.
A magic stone comes crashing through his window.
he jumps. Just says, shit!
Vivian sips her tea.
Some sort of fear, I imagine, or issues of...
And he looks at all the broken glass, brushes some of it off of him.
insignificance, I guess.
Go on.
No, well, I don't really know. Other than those two things, I can't think why someone would do that.
No, Mr. Stone, I'm sure you can't. I can, though. I'm happy to enlighten you. It is stupidity and ignorance and a feeling that you must be larger than all the things you do not understand. I have seen it kill many young people who suffered for the price of being different. I have seen it take many people and twist them into the very thing you fear. Mr. Stone, what do you see when you look at me? Tea in his hands freezes, solid block of ice.
Minor illusion right now, there's like a rising crescendo, like the increasing tension in a horror movie.
I see in...
He almost makes a face of regret as he's about to say this, but he also feels if he gives any other answer, it's not going to go well, so he says,
an intruder.
Yeah, it's a good answer.
Close. Mr. Stone, there are many people like me. There are many people who will do what I will do. And now that we know your name, we will not be intruders in your home any longer. We will be facets, as well known to you as the wooden floors you tread upon, as the moon that watches over your shoulders, as the bugs that crawl along your skin as you sleep.
Sound of bugs crawling around outside.
Amazing. Mr. Stone, I watch the edges. I patrol the crossroads and the boundaries. I guard the liminal spaces between spirits and ancients, past and present, the heat and the dark. I am the balance between all that you crave and all that makes you weak. And what are you to that, Mr. Stone? The fire goes out.
Glowing red eyes illuminate the room from the window.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know?
I am just an old farmer. It's all I ever have been.
The flame illuminating the room. She has put down the tea. Outside, mounds of earth begin to rise from the ground. As they do, saplings begin to spread as the seeds are instantly germinated and grow around him. And she says, "What you are, Mr. Stone, is a man that is on the verge of change, and I am happy to push you over that edge. And I would like to remind you, you believe that you could recognize dark magic when you see it. And I think that from her, fog begins to emanate. She casts Fog Cloud, the only light being the green from the fire illuminating the smoke around him. He becomes completely blinded, and she walks up and she whispers in his ear, I hope that for your sake, I never have to prove to you how wrong you are about dark magic.
Can I cast? I would like to cast sleepwalking, to maintain vision, and center the point such that it will only affect Mr. Stone.
Sure.
If this is a cue, Vivian, unless Vivian has something else to say.
No, this is perfect.
Yeah, 19 or less HP, he is zonked out. It's commoner.
Yeah, he passes out.
Okay. Vivian goes over, dispels the fog cloud, puts out the fire, sets the tea back in its proper place, tidies up the place a little bit. Nothing I can do about the window, but fuck him. And walks out, meets up with Johnny, and I think, does Johnny say anything? Because she's just going to walk.
He falls in line, follows.
I think halfway back, she says, hold out your hand for a moment.
Yeah, Johnny holds out his hand and will also lean down, so it is at about waist level for Vivian.
Perfect. She high-fives it.
It's like back of the hand facing Vivian. So does she slap the palm, or does she like come below?
Yeah, she'll
does she
come
slap
below.
the back?
She's gonna make it work. Yeah. And then, without any other word, we'll head back to the tavern and go to bed.
Excellent. The sleepless Johnny, quite unsatisfied, is going to try and find a lead on Erithil for the party tomorrow. Investigate the area a little bit.
Make me an investigation check.
Sleepwalking advantage. 19.
You kind of look at the outskirts of the woods, and you find a basket. You're not sure if this is exactly connected, but it has like some herbs in it that have now dried and rotted from not being properly dried, with like a few mushrooms that have wilted because of the same reason. They haven't been properly preserved for alchemical use, so they are now rotted in the basket. And a few feet away from it is a dark blue, almost green ribbon. Sorry, but hold up.
Is there any distinct path as to where this person may have gone or been taken?
You don't see any change in the scenery. If there were footprints or something like that, they might be long gone due to, wind and weather, over the last few days.
Okay. Anything else in this area?
Other than the basket and the ribbon? Oh, sorry. Nothing of note.
Yeah, he will leave the scene preserved, note his findings and the location of these items, slip them under Vivian's door, and then walk around for a little bit, walk around the town, and some nice dreams until morning.
Yeah, and in the morning you all rise for breakfast and whatnot, but just so that way, since we only have an hour left, just for the sake of brevity, you all wake up, you have a refreshing meal. Once again, you are mistaken for farmers and get a yummy pastry. Maybe someday the lady that passes these out will realize that you guys are not normally from there.
Or hope not.
So far, she hasn't. I've been rolling for this, by the way. She did not understand that you guys are not people that live there today.
Let me know if she ever passes and I'll silvery barbs it.
I will let you know. So, if I remember correctly, it'll be, Emiko and Lysel, and...
AKA Team Mimic.
Jay and... Xander?
Yeah, although I don't know if Joey's actually back, because he's taking care of something.
That's fine. I was intending on doing... I'll be doing, Lysel and Emiko's thing first.
Awesome.
I pass out the lead that was left under my door to them so they know about it as well.
So, Lysel and Emiko, you get to the area where that, hint was left, and you see the same thing. A basket that has, old wilted herbs in it, as well as green ribbon. And I would like y'all to make me survival checks.
Good. I got a 20.
Damn.
I got a 24.
Damn. So you all start to investigate the area, and you notice that this basket was basically on the way towards that pond that the doctor recommended to you. And walking by, you don't notice anything too strange until you actually get closer to the pond itself. And you notice that there are several bushes that surround the area that are very damaged. You notice that a lot of the branches are snapped off. And this isn't something that a normal eye would catch, but both of you are able to see that something disrupted these bushes. The way that the branches and brambles fell off are not natural. It's not just natural aging of a plant or anything like that. It is actually like it was disturbed. And Emiko, you find kind of within the branches, a piece of black cloth that's very, very...
Okay, do these bushes look like there was, something hiding in it, or does it look like there was, I don't know what else to, how else to describe it.
It kind of looks like someone fell through them.
Like, they were, running through them?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it look like they're running towards the lake, right? So it was going inward?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there another set of bushes that are damaged like this in this area? Like she was running through the lake, or does she look like she jumped into the lake?
There don't appear to be any more. But real quick, make me an investigation check. Both of you or just one of you. I'm agnostic as to.
I'll also make that check.
Yeah.
I found some really nice flowers. I got a 0.
I got a 14.
A 14?
Yeah.
As you look around the pond, at first you don't find anything of note, but then out of the corner of your eye, you spot that there is a fairly large brown feather floating along the pond's surface.
Emiko's gonna jump for it.
Yeah, there were better ways to do this, but Lysel, you're just like, oh, I didn't find anything, and then just see Emiko fucking do a cannonball into the pond. But you got it.
I don't think this is really an appropriate time to go for a swim.
Emiko pops up out of the water and just holds the feather and it's like damp, so it's like falling back and forth, not very naturally. Feather.
It could be a duck. It would make an amount of sense, I would think.
Did you say duck?
Yes?
Ooh, no, that would be a pretty big duck.
Yeah, the feather is almost a foot long. It's a very large feather.
Can we make a survival check on the feather to see if we know what animal it's from?
Looks smaller when wet.
Yeah, go ahead and make me another survival check.
I will assist you with that.
Okay.
You come out of the water, we have a good look at it.
Okay. 19.
You take a look at it, and one thing of note is that all of the fauna or creatures within Farwood are dinosaurs, and some dinosaurs have feathers. But this doesn't look like that type of feather. You kind of think through your mind what other creatures you can think of that have feathers, especially one this big, and one thing settles on your mind. Harpies have feathers.
Ooh.
And
I'm gonna look up.
yeah, you look up and notice that in the trees there are claw marks higher up in the trees. With more damaged branches that lead deeper into the forest. And in these trees, there are holes that look like they have been scratched into the bark of the trees. There are more feathers clinging to the branches or leaves of the trees much higher up.
How or is it like a very dense forest?
Yes. Woods of Farwood are very dense and also have very, very large trees.
Okay. Lisa, do you think you can be on the lookout on the ground and I go up in the trees?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. Just make sure you don't fall.
I've been climbing trees all of my life, so
It just takes one wrong step.
appreciate the concern, and then she's gonna start climbing the nearest tree.
Yeah, go ahead and make me your choice of athletics or acrobatics.
Definitely acrobatics. 16.
Yeah, with no issues, especially as you get further up the tree and kind of like use the scratch marks as handholds. You hoist yourself up, and you also notice something. There appears to be a nest, in one of the holes, but you can tell based on how it's set up, it appears to be old and abandoned, but it has like random metal trinkets, like random chains and necklaces and old feathers. You can tell that maybe these harpies have moved their nest, but at one point it was here.
Is there probably want to be like anything like in the nest that's like worth looking at? Because they probably would have just taken that with them. She's gonna start hopping through branches the way that it looks like they went.
Meanwhile, Lysel's going to be running along underneath the trees that Emiko's hopping through.
Yeah, both of you make me another set of survival checks.
Ooh, that's a decent roll. 21.
9.
Yeah, so, for a brief moment, Emiko, you kind of lose track, because there's so many trees and branches, it all kind of becomes a blur. So for a second, you, like, lose track and look down and see the direction that Lysel is going, and manage to keep on track. Meanwhile, Lysel, you are noticing evidence of things on the ground. You notice that there are, little, kind of like, I wouldn't say buried, but there's like little piles of bones where it looks like someone attempted to bury them, but the dig marks do not look like they were made by like a dinosaur or anything similar. It looks like someone, when they like dig into the dirt with their fingers, and start to notice that in a particular direction there's like more feathers and piles of bones, and at one point start to see that there's like an area of trees that kind of stop and reveal another, I would call it a miniature lake. It's much bigger than the pond that you were just at, and there's a bunch of fallen logs that have been rearranged in certain areas where it looks like people were sitting, because you see that there's like a cup that has been knocked over and now covered in dirt and stuff from being left there for a long time, and look up and see that there is ahead of you, so you're not like standing right under it, but ahead of you see that there is another collection of nests where they've actually like strung things between trees and like hanging things from them as if decorating. There's like vines that span from one tree to another, and there's like spoons and forks hanging from them as if they're, a banner of some kind.
How long did it take us to get here?
From town or from the pond?
From town.
I would say maybe about 45 minutes.
Is that calculating the time it took us to like look around? Like, if someone knew the direction here, would it seem like it would be faster to get here?
Yeah, it would probably take them like 30 minutes to get to where you are as opposed to 45.
Okay, I'm going to summon my familiar, and I'm going to send it back to town to hopefully be able to round the rest of the party and bring them back to this location. And I think, Lysel, we should probably check out the area more to have clearer view. So, like, when the party gets here, we'll have a better game plan.
And we'll have more information to give them that way. Maybe figure out what we're dealing with in the terms of numbers. It would seem we've found their nest, but how long have these harpies been here?
How old did the old nest look?
The old nest looks like it looked like it had been abandoned for a few.
It'd be more than a few weeks. Their old nest was abandoned, but not for very long.
I would like both of you real quick to make me a perception check.
We can do perception checks. We're wise. Not if we put our dice away. I rolled it right back into its container. 16 prescription.
16?
Yeah.
I got a 15.
Yeah, so both of you, as you're kind of having this conversation, figure out what you're going to do. In the distance, you are just out of its reach where anything would happen. You start to hear a soft singing that sort of echoes the street, and you hear slight flapping of wings.
I'm gonna look in the direction to see if it seems like they're just like returning or if they're like hunting something.
It seems to be that they are returning to their nest. You're far enough away where if you want, you can make some stealth checks real quick until your friends arrive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that might be best. We should take cover.
Yeah, make those stealth checks at advantage since they are a bit far away and are making a bunch of noise.
I don't need to make an advantage because I rolled a natural 20.
Damn.
For a total of 24.
21.
Yeah, so both of you, like, duck behind a tree as you hear... as you hear 4 harpies all suddenly descend among the nests and giggling at each other and having a conversation in common. One of them says, "That raptor meat was tender, but you know what's going to be more tender when we're ready to feast?" And one goes, "And what is that, sister?" And the last one goes, "I know the answer." And they all start giggling maliciously, and one goes, "Yes, the girl. She's almost ready, almost ripe for plucking those pretty little eyes out of her head." And all 4 of them cackle, and the last one that hadn't spoken until just now says, "I already think that they're ripe for plucking now, but if you insist, we must wait." And one of them goes, "Yes, for the full moon. Then we can pluck her little pretty eyes out of her head." And they all start cackling.
When's the next full moon? Can we make a survival check?
Yeah, go ahead.
23.
Okay, good. My god, it's 10.
2 days.
Okay.
I think Lysol's just gonna like lean close and whisper, "That's just a couple of days from now."
Well, within the hour, the party should be here, so they
Hopefully.
won't be alive that long.
Like not to know.
Truth be told, I think that the 2 of us are gonna stand the best chance against the harpies' enchanting song.
Well, I think it's still a better idea that they're here than not.
Well, I'll at least get this started. We're gonna quickly rewind back a little bit. Xander, get a head start going out about and talking to where do you start your investigation?
That's a great fucking question. I'm gonna start at the market. And I'm gonna ask people if they've seen this woman. And I'm gonna use... Do we get a description of her? Is that a thing?
Yeah. We got a painting.
Fantastic. I'm gonna use minor illusion to show people what because we're going after her cousin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna use minor illusion to have you ever seen this woman sort of situation.
Yeah, make me a persuasion check.
Okay. I'm gonna assume that if Gelwood was, able to be played right now, that I would be getting advantage. And that's a good thing because my first roll was a natural 2, but the other one was a 16. For a grand total of 25 with guidance.
Yeah, the first few people kind of give you the same generic answer, like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen her, but I haven't seen her for a few days." But then one of them, who is an Arican, says, "Oh, my brother saw her a few days ago. Right before she went missing."
And do you perhaps know which way she went?
That would be something you'd have to ask my brother about, but,
Great, where's your brother?
he points to, like, the collection of small huts and, like, the picking fields, and he goes, "The biggest one in the back is where the 3 of us stay. His name's Sarah, she'd be able to talk to him there."
Fantastic, thanks so much. Come, Sir Elwood. And then, yeah. I'm gonna go talk to the brother, ask him the same shit.
Yeah, standing outside of the hut are 2, again, also Arican people. One of them is a lot, like, stockier than the other. The other one seems to be much younger.
Also, I apologize, Chaz, just because of time constraint. Can I just, like,
get the information that Xander would get in the interest of not being the only person at the table playing right now?
Yeah. Basically, you had heard of this individual from the doctors. Well, his name is Sarah's.
Sarah's? Okay.
Yeah. He said that he saw Erithil on the outskirts of town plucking herbs and saw her run into the woods chasing something, and he heard strange music. And because he had to get home to his youngest brother, which is the one that is standing outside with him currently, he didn't really have any time to...
Awesome. Yeah. I'm gonna tip him a silver for the information. And can I just like make a check or something just to, give a quick schmooze around town just to see if there's anybody else who knows anything that we don't already know? Just again, for the sake of brevity, I'm really sorry.
Make another persuasion check.
Gotcha. With guidance. Ooh, that's incredible. 27.
Yeah, one of the farmers does have something you haven't heard yet, and it's that Erithil, for the last couple has been keeping track of the placement of the moon, almost as if anxious about something.
Gotcha.
And then, as you get this last bit of information, a tiny, little creature, well, it's not tiny.
Which is totally not a penguin.
Yeah, no, it is definitely not a penguin, but a small fox-like creature with a mask on its face, but a kind of elongated neck, runs at you from the woods, and, skids to a halt and looks up at you, and starts, bouncing in place. Like, hey!
Yeah, this is a signal that Xander and Emiko have established. So immediately knowing something's wrong, he's gonna run to the tavern, and go up to Vivian and Johnny. I assume y'all are at the tavern. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wherever you are, wherever Xander would know you to be, is going to be like, something's wrong. We need to help them.
The familiar still standing behind Xander, bouncing in place, come on, let's go, come on, let's go, fuck!
We'll say that you knew that Viv was at the doctor's house using her alchemical tools, so you can go pick her up there too.
Awesome. And yeah, we're boogieing, we're following the familiar.
Yeah, the familiar leads you through the woods and through the past the little pond and all the way, but at some point it, stops all of you and then, ducks low to the ground as if indicating, you gotta be quiet.
Yeah, pass without trace.
So, la-di-da-di, the rest of you make these stealth checks.
10! DM, would you like me to roll for Gelwood since Joey isn't here?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. Oh, my stealth is actually pretty good. Okay, good. Good.
How's that paladin stealth?
Yeah, that's why I cast Pass Without Trace. Unfortunately, I got a natural 7 on the die, so it didn't really matter. Of course, that's assuming that Gelwood has a -1 to stealth checks, which is a pretty safe bet, to be fair. But it's at least 16.
Okay, so... Oh no, I dropped my blanket. Oh, I am suddenly very cold. Oh no. Oh man.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
I wonder how Trixie's doing.
She's doing alright. No!
Probably dead.
Go off of Emiko's Lysel's earlier. So, as you all start to approach, you can actually see the cover of very large trees that Emiko and Lysel are taking cover behind just before a very large clearing where there's like a kind of deep body of water. And you all see that the 4 harpies are kind of like fluttering about between the branches. And real quick. Yeah. She doesn't see you, but you all see her as one of the holes in the trees that the harpies had made their nest in. A top of a sickly woman's head kind of like peek over and like look around, and one of the harpies goes, "Get back in there, girl!" And she like shrinks away with a yelp.
Hey, Chas. I have a question.
I have an answer.
Hypothetically, if Xander popped into his signet ring and somebody, probably Jay, I imagine, threw him, could I be thrown into the nest or wherever that this woman is being kept?
Yeah, you have to squeeze when you came out, but because she barely fits in there, but you could.
Okay.
But also, you keep in mind that if you did get shunted out, they would see you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was just making sure that was clear that, like, you'd be able to do that, but the moment you came out, like, all 4 harpies would be like, fuck.
Can you bring anyone in your ring yet?
No, not until 10th level, unfortunately. I wish.
Damn. Just pop out.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be perfect. It'd be a perfect ambush. Speaking of ambushes, by the way, we can totally get a surprise round on these motherfuckers.
Oh, easily.
Let's go.
Can we do something to try and lure the ones that are far away a little closer?
Yeah, sure.
Minor illusion in the bushes, a little scared little rabbit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. Actually, I could use a combination of minor illusion and druidcraft. The minor illusion to create like cover for us that they can't see through without using an action, and then the druidcraft to like make a sound.
Sure.
Do harpies have any like natural predators? Do I know what a pterodactyl sounds like? How's that?
Make a survival check.
I will help with that.
Great.
It just so happens Lysol knows how to make that noise.
Okay.
Very quietly, though.
That is a natural 2 and a natural 6 for a total of 7.
Yeah, you don't know exactly what one sounds like.
I will make the sound of what I think a pterodactyl sounds like.
Is it just the guy going?
Yeah. No, that's very much the vibe.
Flap, flap, flap.
But yeah, if you'll allow it, DM, I would like to do that.
I was just gonna move back up in a tree to drop on these fuckers if someone comes by.
Yeah, the minor illusion, by the way, is of a shrubbery.
Shrubbery.
The shrubbery is vaguely in the shape of Gale.
There's some nice trimmed hedges.
Yeah.
I could help with my own minor illusion to help with like drawing it over, like adding like prey to the battlefield.
Hell yeah, let's do it. There's suddenly a cacophony of bunnies and a random pterodactyl.
Yeah, so, the harpies all look up like, what the fuck? And,
Fantastic.
this one over here, which I'm gonna change the color, because she appears to be, like, bigger than the other one. She appears to be more in charge. She goes...
Actually, wait, DM, I'm sorry, can I do one more thing in preparation for this?
What?
So while we were in town, I bought a bear trap. Can I put that under the minor illusion that Emiko makes?
What a way to come back. Holy shit. You bought a
incredible.
such that when the harpy swoops down to grab the illusory prey, its talons get stuck in a bear trap.
Harpies?
Oh my God,
what the
this is
fuck
great.
happened? I was gone for like 45 minutes. We're talking about harpies and bear traps?
Yeah, don't worry about it. We're gonna fight some harpies. They stole the woman we're looking for. She's up in a tree. We're gonna murder the harpies and rescue the lady and save the day.
Hey everyone, this is your DM speaking. This will be the last time that I have to say anything, so right after this moment, they get into a combat against the aforementioned harpies, but like the fool that I am, like I said, I was using my headset microphone, and at this point in time, I lifted up my headset mic, which automatically mutes it, because I wasn't aware that I wasn't using my beautiful, crisp podcast mic. And so the entire combat, you can hear everybody else, but you can't hear me responding to them. But thankfully, the party absolutely fucking dusted those harpies. Xander and Emiko knocked a few of them out of trees so that they would fall and get prone, so that way Lysel or Jay or Vivian could absolutely annihilate them. It was a really fun combat, but the harpies got absolutely annihilated. So, thankfully, this will be the only time this happens. It won't be like Rollbound 1 where it happens every other fucking episode. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. And now, Rollbound's first ad read from another podcast.
Are you looking for a D&D podcast with a dark side? Something more like Game of Thrones and less like Monty Python? Tale of the Manticore is part dark fantasy audio drama, part solo D&D RPG. There's no plot armor here. The dice make all the important decisions. Join me as I resurrect the excitement, wonder, and emotion of old school D&D. Made for a mature audience, Tale of the Manticore is both a fiction and a game. It's the story where chaos rolls.